I'm Kimberly and welcome back to my channel. It's only homeschooling. If you've never been here before, thank you so much for stopping by. I'm a licensed professional counselor turned homeschool mom of one. It's that time of year again when everyone is talking about their curriculum picks for the upcoming school year. And now on to spelling. This is our second year using BJU Press for spelling as well. In fourth grade, we used Spelling 4. And this year, we are using BJU Press Spelling 5. Initially, when we started homeschooling, I used All About Spelling and All About Reading, but we switched. It got to be a little bit cumbersome using the little magnets and stuff. I'll put some pictures up here to show you what that looks like if you're not familiar with All About Spelling. But it got to be a little cumbersome moving those every single time. So instead, once the University Model School chose all of BJU Press Spelling, we decided, hey, this is actually a lot easier and still gets the concepts. What I like is, let me show you here, their method for teaching you how to spell. Very simple, and it works for us. It goes by look, say, think, write, and check. So it's a process for going through to learn how to get into the habit of spelling a word. With dysgraphia, my son does struggle with this a little bit. Believe it or not, he can actually spell better out loud in doing his oral spelling test, but he still does kind of switch the letters around occasionally. With enough practice and with enough reviewing his spelling word lists over the week, he's been doing pretty well with this program. But what I also like about BJU Press is they teach you not only spelling skills, but they also teach you vocabulary, and they teach you dictionary skills. Let's see if I can find some examples. Being able to alphabetize. So we are pretty big fans of BJU. And again, as with anything with BJU, it is all from a biblical worldview. So we like incorporating those faith concepts and coming from a Christian worldview perspective, as opposed to teaching it just as a separate subject. We like everything flowing from that point of origin. And here is a little bit of a flip through of what BJU Press Spelling 5 looks like. Can't believe I actually have a fifth grader as I'm looking at this. I don't know where time went. Okay, so this is what we'll be learning this year. Vowel patterns, R patterns, homophones, compound words. Okay, there is the look, say, think, write, check that I was telling you about earlier. And here's what a typical lesson looks like. You have your list. It teaches you the concept. One of the big things that is a holdover that we used from All About Spelling that I continue to use here is teaching my son to count the syllables when he is getting ready to spell a word. Counting the syllables helps him remember that there's going to be a vowel for every syllable, and then he can go back to his phonics and really listen and slow down and hear for the sound and for the vowel sound that he is listening for. And it really kind of helps him, especially with dysgraphia, be able to discern which vowel is making which sound, and especially in this case. And it can get pretty tricky. Dictionary skills, alphabetizing. But overall, even though there's quite a bit of handwriting here, a lot of times if it's the work that we do at home, I will either scribe for him or I will have him answer the questions orally, because the point is that we accommodate at home in our learning because we can. And then there's proofreading. Again, more editing. Checking someone else's mistakes as another method of a way to learn. And that is spelling 5s. So for each spelling list, there's usually at least 2 pages of activities, including a word study and a word bank that they provide you, as well as more sentence completion, and of course dictionary skills and alphabetizing. So that's it. And we do a list per week, typically. to just show you some of the different types of activities that are included. Proofreading, of course, very important skill with PJU. On to cursive, just really quickly. I do not have my son's cursive notebook from last year that was sent to school with him, but he did, and we didn't do any cursive at home, other than he would practice writing in cursive, but he did building writers last year, but he would practice writing in cursive when he would do assignments at home, just to keep the skills fresh. But this year we are using Handwriting Without Tears, CanDo Cursive, and here's a little bit of what it looks like on the inside. We have loved Handwriting Without Tears for teaching us. Initially, we've used it since first grade, since we started homeschool. But we have used it and enjoyed it through our years of teaching cursive since we have homeschooled. This looks interesting. Okay. Again, he'll be doing most of this on campus with just a little bit of reinforcement from home. And like I said, cursive is mainly taught on campus. So one of the ways that we reinforce those cursive skills at home is we have him take his spelling tests in cursive. Most of his assessments are taken on campus as part of the University Model Program, but spelling tests are typically taken at home, so we just take those in cursive. So I went back and pulled out his spelling 4 that he had in 4th grade just to show you how we practice our cursive skills at home. He does most of his practice for cursive on campus. And since when it comes to language arts and essay writing, we tend to type those, we still get our cursive practice skills in either with writing letters to friends or when it comes time to practice his spelling words and take his spelling test. So here's an example of how I've just reinforced those spelling skills by having him write his spelling words in cursive. Easy way to keep those skills fresh at home. And here's a bit more of the flip through from the CanDo Cursive from Handwriting Without Tears. For lowercase and uppercase alphabet. Although he has taught this subject primarily on campus when he attends the University Model School, when I would do this at home, I typically never did more than 1 page per day. Sometimes 2, it just depends, but handwriting is one subject that would really, really fatigue him. So I would take it at his pace. A lot of it has to do with his personality as well. He is very much a perfectionist, and so he would want to redo a letter over and over, erasing almost to the point where he would erase holes in the paper. So I'm going to show you, after I finish this flip through, what I used to help us move past that so he didn't just ruminate so much over erasing and starting over and trying to get that perfect letter. And here's just a little bit of what it looks like. And of course, tow truck connections. It's something that he struggles with. It's something that I struggle with. One thing about teaching your child cursive is trying to make sure that you are forming the letters properly yourself. So that is just a little bit of a flip through for CanDo Cursive. Okay, so when we practice cursive at home, or when I was teaching it mainly at home, and when we occasionally need to practice some skills here, this is what I have used. There's this really great product called Channie's, and Channie's makes this a dry erase board. And I get these fine-tipped Expo style markers. And of course, he always chooses red because red is his favorite color. But it also helps if your child has visual tracking issues, kind of like my son does, having these lines color-coded, much like using graph paper or turning your notebook paper sideways to make sure you can line up the numbers properly when you're doing math. These color-coded sections really, really help. And I'll flip here just to kind of show you. Like here is an example with the letter T. So this shows you how to do, go up here and down and cross. And it can show you that you go to the top of the green to do your lowercase, and you can go all the way up to the white to do your uppercase. But it just sort of helps him evenly space his letters a little better. Lets him have a little more control so he can slow down, and so he doesn't have to worry. And even when he's a little bit of a perfectionist, if he wants to erase, you can just erase very simply this way without worrying about putting holes in the paper. But I highly recommend, if you have a kiddo like mine who struggles with cursive and struggles with dysgraphia, and especially with that little bit of perfectionism, this is a wonderful product. I'll put a link to this in the notes below.
It's like a regular H.
Kind of. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please click the like button below and share it with your friends. And please consider subscribing to my channel so that you'll know when we've got new videos coming out. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Remember, education is a journey, not a destination. Relax. It's only homeschooling.